So your dad went in the Navy in 1938, and then
Okay.
your dad went missing in November 1951. Is that right? November 6th, 1951.
Yes.
Yeah. How old were you in 1951? In November 1951?
I was just about 14 months old.
Okay.
Our family went to Hawaii. I had two older sisters. One's 10 years older than me, and the other one's 5 years older than me. And all the families were being, relocated to Honolulu, Hawaii, because they were going to be going to Japan. So my family got there in May by ship with a whole bunch of other families. He left in July. I was born in August. And then, the following November, he went missing.
Okay.
So that's that time frame.
How old were you when, when this really began to settle in? Obviously, when you're that young, you don't know. But then as you add a couple years to your life, then you have a sense that maybe something's different in your world than it is in other people's world. But how old were you when you really kind of, had a sense of what had happened?
I'm going to say when you start, probably you become aware, probably kindergarten, first grade, that you're aware of more than your family and that surrounding area. And I think I started noticing then that I didn't have a dad, and dads were a very curious thing to me. I always had that growing up. Poor Melody, she'll never know her dad. So around 6 years older, I'm going to say you're aware. And because it was so many years after him missing, this is 5-6 years, no one's talking about it anymore. You just hear little bits and pieces. My mom was always willing to talk about it with, friends and acquaintances, but, kids are always in the other room, not sitting at the adult table listening. So, you just hear things, I knew he went missing. He was missing, and I feel I was actually raised that he could come home. He could come back. I was raised with that feeling. He could come back. 5 years after World War II, weren't people coming out of the jungles of the Philippines and stuff, not knowing the war was over? And when you're missing, you just don't know. Like I said, I was raised like he was coming back. I always felt he could. When we were living in San Francisco, we moved out of San Francisco when I was 8, and I remember going to my mom crying, saying, "We can't move. How's he going to find us if we move?" Not knowing anything that, we're in Hawaii, oblivious to all that. Just how is he going to find us if we leave here? I don't remember her answer, really. But 2 years after we moved to the suburbs outside of San Francisco, one Christmas morning, there was a whole bunch of packages on our front door. And I kept thinking as an 8-year-old kid, my dad brought them. He's so disfigured from the war, he doesn't want us to see him. So I think for the rest of my, next 5, whatever amount of time, my bedroom faced the steps of the front door. I was always looking out there every night before I went to bed, thinking I might see him walk by or something like that. But I really believed for a long time it was him. But 5 years after that, we found out it was the neighbors across the street who did that because they realized we were, we had what we needed. Let's put it that way. We weren't destitute, but you had what you need, and that's good. And so I found out it was them, but as you see, it still feels strong. I thought he was disfigured.
Yeah.
You ask me a question now. Okay. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always felt he could come back. He could. Yeah. My mom never remarried. She says, I couldn't do that to him. What if he comes back?